As I mentioned before, I've been writing basically all my life. I discovered writing when I was 10, and I'm now 29, so I've been writing for I'm not good at math, but I've been writing for a good portion of my life. And so since I also majored in creative writing, that's obviously one of my passions. So I created a blog called Rehab Revolution, where I talk about, all the intricacies that I've mentioned about having to adapt to a new lifestyle, and sort of not just the physical aspects, but also the sort of emotional and the spiritual aspects of having to change your lifestyle for something traumatic that happened, and also helping to deal with the people that are around you that have to also adapt and stuff. So that blog explores this whole, arena of topics, and I do that not paid currently anyway, and I've been working on a memoir as well that explores more in detail my life and my personal experience. So I hope that the Rehab Revolution blog actually will pick up a large readership. I started a network marketing jewelry business a little over a year ago. I blog for all of that. I blog the Rehab Revolution for myself, my business, the photographer, and my parents have a restaurant, so I do their social media marketing. So a lot of computer stuff. I'm a budding photographer as well, so it's a lot to juggle at the same time, but I don't have a 9-to-5. I like to make my own hours. My path to choosing what I want to do for work is predominantly based on where my strengths are. My strengths are not getting up early in the morning and being able to be somewhere at 9 o'clock sharp. Obviously I mentioned, I have never been particularly punctual, and the disability has only made it worse. And I understand a lot of people say, okay, well, if you've got this disability that hinders you and it's not going to go away, you need to adapt to the disability and then wake up earlier. And I'm just not willing to do that because I need my sleep. I had a brain injury. My brain needs more rest than the average person. And not only that, but I've always been somebody who required about 8.5 to 10 hours of sleep anyway. So I understand that my brain does not function when I'm sleep deprived, and neither does anyone else's, by the way. So I just am not willing to be unrested all the time. And I believe that actually heightens my quality of life as opposed to diminishes my productivity. I graduated really late from U of I because my stroke was in 2003, so I was supposed to graduate in 2006, but I didn't graduate until 2009. It was because I took some time off and I studied abroad and I changed my majors around a few times. So by the time that I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I told my parents that I would take a year off before I started working so that I could focus on some more rehab and get myself physically closer to where I wanted to be. But then a year turned into many, many years. The option of not working was not really an option anymore. And not to mention, you need something to do too to stimulate your mind as well, not just be working out all the time. In this period of time after I graduated, I don't feel that restlessness that I felt when I was taking time off of school and I was just going crazy because I didn't have something to stimulate myself. In that time, I've been working on personal development and spirituality and just sort of things to grow me as a person, as well as, I just have always been stimulating my mind and working on my own personal growth, going to conferences and things like that to better my skills and better myself as a person. After I graduated, I sort of quickly got involved in network marketing businesses, and then through that, I realized that I do want to be an entrepreneur and I really want to work for myself because I would rather not have my career path be decided by other people who get to decide my worth and my value. So I would rather be paid based on my own work, which is a struggle too because I also sometimes lack some self-discipline as well and time management skills, which I'm still working on. I basically chose to pursue things that I know that I can do without hindrance. So rather than deciding all of a sudden that I want to become an NBA player or a WNBA player or something like that, that I have no strengths in and that I would physically be very limited to doing, I decided to focus on my writing. If nothing had ever happened to me and I had never had the stroke or whatever, what would I have been good at? I would have been good at writing. So I started with the writing. Since that is my passion and that's where my strengths lie, I'm going to focus on that because the disability does not hinder that in any way. I mean, apart from, typing, but I actually type very quickly with one hand anyway. With the jewelry business, I actually hemmed and hawed about starting that for a while too, because a lot of what the business involves is doing sort of demonstrations and showing how the jewelry can be worn in different ways, different techniques like twisting it or crocheting it or like layering it or whatever. And obviously necklaces can get pretty tangled and stuff like that. So I was like, should I even do it? Because what happens if I take forever because I'm trying to do something that I can't really do with my fingers? And my mentor, the one that got me involved in the business, she was like, well, you know what, just work around it. There are ways that you can ask for volunteers, and that would actually be better during your jewelry shows, because then they can see how easy it is because they can do it and you're just telling them how to do it the first time. Or you could use like cards where people are reading what to do and you can still have volunteers to do that. And so at the beginning of my jewelry shows, I do actually warn them, like if I get tripped up because I'm getting tangled up or I can't get a clasp open or whatever, it's because I have a disability. So I've found that it's very useful to be open about it so that people know what's going on instead of being like, well, what like what's happening with this girl? Why is she being weird? I wanted to be a fashion designer at a certain point. So the jewelry is along the line of style and fashion and things like that. So it's fun for me as well. It is important for me to both have flexible hours as well as be able to enjoy my work, because I feel like I do my best work when my heart is in it. So even when I'm writing things on assignment that I don't really like, I feel like my writing is much better when it is something that I do like. So I do my best to stay along those lines and make sure that I am doing my best work with the assignments that I choose and the types of work that I want to do. And otherwise, improving the things that I might not be as strong in. For example, like sales or something like that. That's all interpersonal skills and things like that. And there are plenty of books and techniques and seminars and whatnot that I attend and read and learn from regularly. So none of that involves, physically being able to do something that I may not be able to do now.